I'm at Jimmy's house today and we're gonna talk to you guys about these rare tropical plant collection that he has. So let's go sit on down and have a chat with him. No, should be relaxed. Be relaxed.
Okay.
And it's not relaxing what you say. Hey guys, today I have Jimmy with us here. Jimmy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, I'm a rare tropical plant collector. I've been collecting plants for probably like over a year now or so. Yeah, I started as pretty much just indoor decor, right? I think the whole indoor greenery is or was like an interior design trend, right? So when I got my place and I was decorating it, I tried to make it greener, and it just turned out really, really green. I got into the rare stuff, I guess, pretty quickly. I only have indoor space, so a lot of the flowering plants, a lot of the common plants, and also like cacti, I really couldn't do with the amount of lighting and the amount of space I had. So it just turned out that these rare tropical plants, amazingly, are really good at surviving with low light conditions indoors. So I think that's probably why they've gotten really, really popular, especially this year and maybe even last year. But this year, it really exploded.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of the times we see at even like Home Depot where they carry the more common things, but a lot of the houseplants that we have around our home is actually, tropical plants. And tropical plants, usually the smaller ones would grow, under, like in the shade, on the bottom layer in the forest. So we're actually just having tropical plants in the house, but you like growing the rare stuff, which is kind of like what I do too. I always go and hunt down for I do more edibles, even though I did start it as like ornamental things, and I still enjoy them quite a lot. But I always like to go for the stuff that it's hard to find too.
Yeah, I'm sure people are not into the hobby because these plants are more expensive, right? Like no one wants more expensive plants. I think it just so happens that like the trend of real estate being smaller, people are getting into small, having to live in smaller spaces. I think yards are getting obviously smaller. I don't even have a yard space at all. So, you're finding these plants that just have to live in these conditions, and they just happen to be rare tropical plants because those are similar to conditions that are in the rainforest, right? Like the light isn't that impressive when there's a canopy in the rainforest. And obviously they're surrounded by tons of other plants, so they're kind of used to quote unquote a small space.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people are getting more into plants now, because they're actually realizing that it helps to really just calm you, like the energy being around plants is just so peaceful and relaxing.
It is very relaxing, especially if you're living in a very urban or big city environment, right? Like you really don't get that much of a chance to see lots of green. I think if you're living in some parts of the country, in the Midwest or so, where there is a lot of like woody areas, but in these big in these big urban centers, you really don't have, like, we're in LA, right? So that's the last time you see lots of big,
Exactly, and it helps to purify the air.
Yes. Yeah. I really don't know for that for sure.
Do you feel like you're breathing better? Well, you don't have a respiratory problem, so you might not.
Yeah, I don't collect for the air purification purposes.
That's just a bonus.
But yes, I think, I don't know specifically about the air purification, but I think having something that's like alive and growing and fresh, in your home, it, even if the air isn't pure, it does feel pure,
Well, then it is.
Yeah, the environment feels, it definitely feels, the environment really, there's like a zen to it, there's like a peace to it.
Walking into a forest, like I feel like there's a lot more oxygen, and it just, zen, and and going back to how we like growing things in an urban area, just because greenery really helps to freshen up your mind, opens up your creativity, and you're just less on edge, you know. And when we're building vertically, which I'll show you guys back there, he's got a pretty cool setup there. And growing vertically, like whatever you can with it, because plants make people a little less crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of times we're, you know, the things that make us crazy are, you know, work, traffic, right? Things that are very inorganic, you know, concrete, cement, right? Like, I work in the hospital for my day job, so not much green stuff there.
Although they
right?
should, huh?
Yeah, so, so then when I get home, it's really great to have a lot of green stuff around. It, you know, really takes my mind off things. It helps me relax. So, yeah. No,
definitely. I feel so, like, the energy in here is great. Like, coming in and, excuse me, you're also closer to the ocean. So there's, like, it's cooler out here and it's more, like, higher humidity. But also these plants would create more humidity. So it's just...
Yeah, I think that living near the ocean with higher humidity does help. It helps keep... It makes it easier to keep these plants indoors.
Yeah.
I think if for people who are living in drier environments, they have to do a lot of indoor humidity augmentation, like they have the humidifiers running. Even if you're living, you know, a couple miles inland, you know, it dries out. It dries out really quickly. So
I get like 0 to 20 as my average humidity level.
Right, and you're living what, like 10 miles away?
20 something
20,
miles.
okay, yeah. Yeah, but your
it's
humidity
good enough to have that drop, like that dramatic drop.
Yeah.
Like you guys actually in like maybe like 60?
Yeah, I think our average
That's
is
almost
like 60s.
tropics. That's
60s year round. I think tropics is probably like 70 to 80. You know, like if you're thinking about like Florida, or you're thinking
where it's
like,
actually sticky enough to actually feel
like
sticky
the Caribbean. If anyone's been to like Asia, that's like, you know, when the humidity feels gross, that's optimal humidity, right? So my place is still not optimal for the plants, but you know, I'm not gonna go crazy. I hate sticky humidity.
Yeah.
So. I think my taste in plants has certainly, I think, changed since I started collecting. I think a lot of people who get into the rare tropical aroids specifically, they start out with variegated Monstera, right? Variegated means that it's the patches of like yellow or white, basically the non-green patches on the plants, right?
Thank you for answering that question. I was going to ask you that.
Okay. Right, so a lot of people get into it because those are the plants that really stand out, and you know, they're like, you know, really, really impressive and really beautiful.
Very beautiful, very striking.
Yeah, so that's usually like the gateway where people really like dive right in.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the Monstera, like people, it's so iconic now, right? You see them on like different prints on fabric. And
yeah, the Monstera leaf
earrings, jewelry, everything.
I think the good thing is that Monstera, I think the plant that was really hot before the Monstera was like the fiddle leaf.
Oh,
the fiddle leaf fig, if you guys remember. I think it got hot because a lot of interior design magazines would just like picture that in the corner, and it looked amazing, right? It's like these big leaves, and it gave this like jungly tropical vibe. You know, it requires a lot of light, really good humidity, a very regular watering cycle, and it's just a lot of maintenance to keep in a really good condition. But the Monstera, I think, is like, it's a keeper because a lot more easy to grow, very less finicky, very less picky, you know. A lot of light, low light, a lot of, well, don't do a lot of water, but you know, you don't have to water that often. You can water, you know, every 7, every 10, every 14.
Better the under than over water.
Yeah, but you can really keep it really, really dry. You can forget a whole watering cycle, and your plant will probably still be, you know, perfectly fine. And
one thing I wanted to know, I'm sure my viewers would like to know about this because I like to talk about growing food and all that. Tell us about the Monstera. Isn't that like, doesn't it have like an edible fruit or something?
Yes, the Monstera does have an edible fruit, but it requires the plant to be really, really big and mature. And I think that the only fruits that I've heard come from them are actually from the plants that are actually grown outdoors in the ground. So I've actually never seen an indoor
Sunroom.
house plant. Yes, I've never seen a plant that's been growing indoors bear fruit. But yes, it does grow a fruit that tastes very similar to cherimoya, or a combination of, I'd say like pineapple kiwi-ish. It looks like a corn on the cob. The cob is not hard, so it's, you know, it's like, I do have a video of it, of me eating it. Yeah, very, very hard to find in these parts. I assume that probably in Florida a lot more people have access to them because there's a lot more Monsteras just
for sure. Yeah, and there are like the green one, which is the one I have outside in a giant pot that I'm really hoping for it to fruit, and that is the intention I'm going to set. That is the next fruit I want to eat. I'm going to go out and hunt for this fruit because I know it's going to take a while for mine to fruit.
So again, you need a really large and mature plant to even like get the fruit, right? So then once the fruit actually comes, it takes a whole year for that fruit to grow and then ripen. And you really can't eat it when it's not ripe because I think it's like literally like hard as a rock. Yeah. And you don't want to spend the next day or two in the restroom.
Someone sounds very experienced.
No, I was really lucky to find a really good ripe one.
You did say that the variegated ones, I was wondering about that one. Do they actually fruit because it's variegated and white doesn't really, you know, it kind of like lessens the energy of the plant to produce.
I have not seen a variegated fruit in person.
Not variegated fruit, but from a variegated plant.
Yeah, so I've never seen a fruit from a variegated plant in person. I've actually never even seen one in pictures. So, but I have heard that they do exist, and yeah, I haven't heard of anyone eating them or what they taste like or if they're any different. Yeah, so I don't know too much information besides the fact that they do exist. I think a lot of people also ask, can you grow from Monstera seeds, right? Like, can you grow from the fruit?
Yeah, there's lots of listings out there online.
Yeah, so you can grow from fruit, or and I think like for the Monstera, the variegated Monstera, when they have fruit, you can grow from them as well. It doesn't guarantee that your plant will be variegated. The fact that the reason why it's not routinely done, as in like a lot of places and a lot of growers and collectors don't grow from seeds, is that it just takes too long of a time period, right? It's much easier to just propagate through cuttings. So you cut a more mature Monstera into like 5 pieces, and you grow each piece. That's much faster.
So much faster.
Yeah, way faster than growing from a seed. So like, like if you think you have a lot of time on your hands and you want to try it, don't. Because you don't even have that much time on your hands.
Can you explain what makes it like variegated anyway?
So the variegation is actually a mutation, right? It's actually the variegated areas are actually parts of the plants that are completely lacking in chlorophyll. So the variegated areas do not produce any energy for the plant. If anything, it's like a burden that the plant has to keep alive. Because it's a mutated area. A lot of the time, that area is also more fragile, more sensitive to burning or crisping up. So, you see when you're looking at variegated Monstera that don't look in the best shape, usually the areas that aren't in the best shape are usually the variegated areas. Also, the variegated areas, because it's a mutation, it's when I say it's like completely unable to make chlorophyll, that's a true completeness.
Yes.
So there are some plants where when you put in lower light situations, the green gets greener or gets darker, right? So the plant is adapting to these low light situations by making more chlorophyll, right? So for when you put a variegated Monstera into a less light situation, the green parts might turn darker green as the intensity of the chlorophyll may increase, but the white parts don't.
Stays white.
Yeah, it just kind of stays white.
It's just blank. It's just there, right? It doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
It has
do
no
anything.
purpose.
It really just drains your plant
Yeah.
So that you can think it looks good.
It's purely just for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man. So yeah, that's why so the more white you have, the slower growing your plant will be, the more sensitive it would be to light.
Yep. So so just know that, like you said, definitely the more white it is, usually the more sensitive and fragile it is. Two is that it's definitely more slow growing compared to a similar sized plant.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who have variegated Monstera with a lot of white, I always advise them to really think about, whether or not they want to like chop or propagate, because your plant is slow growing, and then when you chop it, you're decreasing its energy capacity even more, so that the pieces that you have are going to be even slower growing, right? If you have a lot of green in your plant, those tend to grow a lot faster. Those, if you chop, or propagate, the areas of the leaves that are remaining still have a lot of energy producing capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So that plant usually can still grow pretty well. But if you have plants that are mostly white and you keep cutting it down, your plant is going to be like a snail.
Yeah, and then what about some people that see a green and they're so scared, like, oh no, it's going to revert back, so they cut it, and your plant grows even slower. Like, your plant needs something to produce something, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't.
I think the fear of reversion, I think it's probably overblown, as in people fear that probably more than they need to. Like it happens, but it usually doesn't happen as much as people think.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of people try to do things that help. It's like what can prevent reversion? The answer really is nothing. Like,
it's in the genes,
yes,
right?
It's like
it's
you can't really do anything. A lot of people talk about light, like put it in more light, put it in less light. Lighting does not affect variegation, right? Again, if you're thinking about like, oh, you go in the light and your skin gets darker, and you're out of the light and your skin gets lighter. This is like a patch, a variegated Monstera is like a patch of skin that is like albino.
Yeah.
Right? When people, I think that's how people should think about it. It's like, well, an albino patch of skin does not change or at all.
It's like no pigment.
Yes,
right?
because
you can't grow pigment out of something or nothing.
So realistically, like, lighting does not increase or decrease variegation at all. If your plant truly is reverted, then you really need to like cut it down to the area that has a lot of variegation on the stem.
Which I think you have a video going very in depth in that, right?
I don't necessarily trim.
Or explain.
Yeah, I do have a video about propagating, from like little stem cuttings. Like, so if your Monstera is reverted and you kind of had to like chop off a lot of the reverted part, so you only have like a small segments left. I do have like a video of my friend who propagating, so that may be useful to some people. But again, that's really the only way. Don't play with light. That doesn't. I mean, you can play with it, but it's not going to affect
blue
your
light, red light.
Yeah.
All right. So, what kind of suggestions would you give to like a beginner, say someone who wants to start collecting these expensive, exotic, rare plants?
So I think one is that there are a lot of plants out there, and plant popularity goes up and down, right? There's going to be like hot plant,
when's the next hot plant?
The plant of the month or something, right?
Yeah.
Try to ignore that. Like, not all rare plants you need in your collection, right? And not all of them you need in your collection right now while it's hot, right? So I always advise, like, really get the plants that really speak to you. Like, if you look at that plant, you're like, wow, that's my plant.
You're gonna have to face it every day.
Yeah,
it's
right.
your partner.
Yeah. So like, if you found a plant, or a type of plant or a specimen of plant that, so just collect what you like, and your taste will change, right? Like, my taste changed over the course of my collecting, the time that I've been collecting. So just focus on what you like. I think that's my first tip. My other tip is, focus on the roots. Right? I think a lot of people just like focus on the leaves, like, oh, the leaves are really pretty.
Oh, yeah.
But you really need a good foundation.
Absolutely.
The roots. Like, make sure you focus on the roots, because if you have a plant with good roots, it'll grow fast. And it'll make good leaves, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a plant that has good leaves but bad roots, those leaves are not going to last for you. So
yeah. So what would be a plant you think that would be like more hardy, even though it's like on the rare category?
I think a Thai constellation, which is
that's what I have.
Yeah,
that's probably the only one I have for a while.
So a Thai constellation is a variegated monstera. It's actually, the price has gone down over the course of like this year, because the availability is just so much more now. It's very easy to grow. I think if anyone has a regular Monstera deliciosa, which is the regular Monstera that you find in your garden center, the Thai constellation the care is almost identical.
Almost, yeah.
Well, almost, or is
just
identical.
Just a little lower light with that white.
Yeah, I literally treat it exactly the same.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I probably look at it more often because it's variegated and it's more expensive. So I just
Your investment in it? Yeah.
So I just notice it more often. But I think in terms of care, I would literally just say it's identical. The worst thing that you could do is overwater. Like, literally, that is the worst thing you can do. You can put it in low light, you can put it in low humidity, right? But the thing that kills the Thai constellation, or essentially most houseplants. Yeah, most houseplants, just like overwatering.
Yeah, because there's like evaporation happens a lot slower indoor than outdoor too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I would say, like, in the indoor environment, most people just need to water their Thai constellations, I think at the very most every week, and probably a lot of people can just do every 2 weeks.
Yeah, or stick your finger in if you're really unsure about it and find how dry the soil is before you water. So let's take you guys on a tour, and I want to kind of have him show maybe some of your favorite plants. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure they're interested in seeing. I want to learn more about them too. So let's go.
Sounds good. This is the variegated Monstera albo. Basically, it's the white variegation. As you can see, right, there's some areas where it's not so perfect, and it's usually in the areas where there's large patches of white. As you can see, you can see why so many people.
It's striking. It's so bold.
It's really, really pretty.
Very, very graphic, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
And I think this Monstera has actually gotten the issue of the opposite of a reversion. It's actually getting a bit more and more white.
Oh wow! Yeah,
it's
I'm
getting
seeing
older. So basically, that means that all the new leaves are going to be more of a strain on the plant. So that to solve this, it's going to be the same. Basically the same method as a plant that is reverting, where basically I would have to cut down the stem to an area that has more green. See, so like when you look at the stem, you can see that, right, there's there's variegation in the stem, and you can see that the pattern of variegation in the stem is very similar to the pattern of variegation in the leaves, right? It's kind of like a little bit of a speckled, but it's very interdispersed, green and variegated areas. And then as you can see, like the upper part, it's, I fear that it's getting just more and more white. So, and that's reflected in the leaves as well. As you can see that the newer leaves they're getting more and more white. This one is my favorite plant ever. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, look at this.
This is, I think this is like my soul plant. This is, there's a plant that is just, it's like it speaks to you. And
definitely.
Yeah, this one is a variegated. It's a philodendron. It's a variegated philodendron billet. So one of the main characteristics of the billet are these orange stems. Right. This is why most people love these. So this is variegated. As you can see, there are patches of yellow. Sometimes these are patches of white. The regular billet will just have pure green leaves. So yeah, I just love this. I love this just because it's just so fun.
it's
Like
so-
it's really
yeah.
hard. It's really hard to look at this and like be angry. Anthuriums, I think there's like a common anthurium that's either has like a red or white flower that you see a lot in the common garden centers. So these are just more of the more exotic anthuriums down here. Yeah, anthuriums are really good in low light situations.
Oh yeah.
And,
The dark green leaves, right? Usually
Yeah.
the dark color leaves
Yeah.
are the
yeah.
good for low lights.
Yeah. I love plants with holes or leaves with
Yeah.
holes in them. These are Monstera epipenoides, which is basically a different species in the Monstera
Beautiful. Kind of lacy.
family.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
good, but delicate. It's thinner than the other ones.
Yeah, it's very fun. It
Mhm.
gives you a really good, Jurassic
Yes.
Park or
Yes.
jungle vibe.
Would you say this is probably one of the easier?
Yeah,
Plants.
that's a variegated Syngonium podophyllum, I think. Yes, super easy. It literally grows like a weed. It essentially is a weed in a lot of places. Syngoniums are weeds in, I think,
Yeah.
Asian countries or really
Not the
tropical
variegated.
environments.
I haven't seen many
Yeah,
variegated ones.
yeah, but Syngoniums are just ridiculously easy to care for, and the thing is that they look really good for something that is super easy.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, it's a lot more lush of the other side.
Mhm.
So I actually, this is the unlush side that
Mm.
I rotated so that this side will grow better and have more light, because the other side was definitely outpacing.
So say someone wants to collect any of these plants, you have a store, right?
Yeah, I have an Etsy store, which I think we get some stuff that's domestically grown or sourced, so we sell some stuff there. But yeah, I think a lot of these here are mostly just like my personal collection. I occasionally sell to some people who just kind of reach out and they're looking for something really specific, and it just happens to be, the plant that they're dying to get. These are some of my shinglers. The one down there in the tub is my newest shingler.
Ooh.
Yeah, that one's really, really cool.
Ooh.
But basically, shingling plants are basically plants that, in the tropics, they're climbing up trees. They can climb up walls. They literally can attach and climb up anything. I think you can make them climb up glass if you really wanted to. When they outgrow it, they start to give off these, vines that's basically looking for a new place to attach to.
And I think you have a video to show how to attach them on there.
Yeah, I love these. So I think there's like 4 videos or 5 videos
Wow.
about these and about how to make the moss pole.
Oh, and look right over here. Look, this is such a great way to add more plants to if you have a surface space, table space.
Yeah, so
Creative.
I thought of this when I was trying to obviously make more space. I think the plants that go up here really have to be they really need low light, because there's not that much light that actually hits up here, right? Because you're thinking about windows, unless you have like what, ground to ceiling windows, a lot of the light is not going to hit here. So you need sort of like low light. So a lot of like the Scindapsus or Pothos, a lot of the hanging pot plants that you see at the garden centers, they do pretty well here.
Okay, so Jimmy, since I do a lot of edible sort of videos, I think this gift is kind of for you, but I think it's more for me, my own amusement, and for my viewers.
Okay, all right. Better not be like a hot chili pepper or something.
I don't eat hot food.
Okay.
So, this is some stuff I picked out from the things that I grow. Actually, I picked these new plants out from the Heirloom Expo that I was doing a show at. So, I'll explain what these are.
Okay.
But together, this stuff makes Lifesaver.
Oh.
Lifesaver candy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'll explain. My hand's clean. You don't
Okay.
mind?
No, I don't mind. No, I don't. Yeah.
Or do you want to?
I mean, I have tons of dirt. I have tons of dirt.
Oh,
floating
we
around.
touch plants and stuff,
yeah,
right? So let's see. This is Laotian mint.
Okay. Am I supposed to eat it?
Yes, this is a Laotian mint.
Am I supposed to eat it all together?
Yeah, so...
Okay.
So...
Okay. Smells minty.
This is an Aztec sweet herb. So Aztec sweet herb is kind of like similar to like a stevia. It's a sweet leaf, but it has a slightly different taste than stevia, like the sweetness. So it kind of like the chemicals in there that kind of tricks your taste buds to taste sweet, but there's no sugar in it.
It smells sweet.
It smells sweet already, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this is a strawberry mint.
Okay. Strawberry mint. Okay.
And then...
Oh, this smells good.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I even eat strawberries with it. It kind of intensifies the strawberry flavor. Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
And then these two little berries are called wintergreen.
Okay.
You know, that's actually where the extract comes from, is the leaves, or I'm not sure the leaves or the berries of this. But, so this is where the wintergreen, like gum and candy, comes from. So what you would do is...
You grew all this? This is amazing.
Yeah, growing them. So, let's see. So how...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Aztec sweet herb. Eat the sweet herb. You gotta sweeten up your mouth first.
Okay, hold on. Let me smell the other stuff.
Yeah. It's like two varieties. There's like a red one and like a white one.
Okay, alright, okay.
So eat that first.
This is the sweet herb?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then do the mint.
Holy moly.
And then
Okay.
do the berry.
Both of them?
Any one of them.
Okay.
Or
I'll take this one.
I guess I'll take this one.
Oh.
Is that a lifesaver or what?
Wow. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
You're so fascinated. See,
What
plants
the-
are so much fun. There's like things mimic nature. Nature doesn't mimic
Oh my
things.
god,
you know?
like literally my mind is blown. This
yeah.
is like, I always thought that like lifesavers or these like minty things were just like chemically
natural flavor.
right, like I thought that I really just took the natural flavoring as a joke. I thought that this was all like,
extract
but this wasn't that. Oh my god. It's weird because what's the first thing we ate? The first thing
the
was
sweet herb.
The sweet herb? Wow, that was really sweet. That was that was sweet with like a hint of herbiness.
Yeah.
So you knew you weren't eating like sugar or something like a sugar cane, you know, like something like that.
Yeah.
But it was sweet with like it was like a hint of herbiness. And then we got the mint. And then obviously that
mint is like super minty.
Yeah,
too.
that
like
one
mouth
like,
freshener.
So those two you were really close to like even like a minty gum.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
yeah.
that square ones. I forget the names of those.
Yeah, basically any of the minty gums.
Really
that was
minty,
really
yeah.
And then that fruit. That fruit added something.
Berry.
Yeah, the berry. Yeah.
The winter green berry.
Yeah, I think it added the winter. Right? I literally think
frosty.
I literally think it added. Yeah, I think it added the winter because it took me a while to appreciate what that berry brought to it. But it basically, it kind of like livened it up a little bit and kind of like smoothed all the flavors out. That was really impressive.
Now I have a strawberry mint.
Okay, the strawberry mint.
And a sweet herb. I gave you both
Okay,
in
you
a
gave me a
mix.
lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why they call it strawberry. Does it smell?
It's a little bit like berry, sweet berry like. It brings out more strawberry.
There's some smell. Yeah, there's some smell to it that it smells like a little sweet. But wow.
Different kind of mint, like mostly had
Man,
sweet mint to it.
now I know why people garden.
Well, this is the stuff I'm just like, come on, it's fun. There's so much.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how eating that mint with strawberries would be like.
Yeah, like
really,
just by itself, it's a little hint of reminiscence, but not so. But
yeah,
exactly.
It would be. Oh yeah, I think eating that with strawberry would just kind of like make it a little bit fresher.
Yeah.
A little bit lighter. Oh yeah, that's impressive. But oh my god, that combination at the beginning. Wow. Thank you so much. I mean, that was.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Wow.
I was like, woo! I don't know if he does, but I'm gonna enjoy it.
I was not expecting that experience. I gotta say that was really impressive.
Plants are awesome.
I mean, wow. Like I don't even know what else to say. Like that shocked me. I'm a big foodie. So I really enjoy, different flavors and different preparations of stuff. That was really incredible, especially like the step by step and how each like ingredient really contributed to each other and like enhanced the overall taste profile is wow.
Yeah,
that was great.
It's just I can't wait to grow more of them. I can just get really playful, like how to make stuff and incorporate them in there.
Yeah, wow, that was incredible. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And any last words for my viewers?
No, I mean whatever she's selling or growing or eating, I would try it. I mean that was wow. She sold me on that. That was incredible.
Yes.
Wow.
And you guys make sure to go check out his channel. He's got an Etsy store, and his channel is actually pretty hilarious and very helpful, simple to understand information. I enjoy watching it.
I'm Legends of Monstera.
I'll put
that's
a link
Monster
down below.
with an A. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I have an Instagram that I occasionally use, and my Etsy store is about the same. So yeah, thanks. Okay, this is fun.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to go check out his channel. I'll leave all the information you need just below this video, and also if you want to support me, I do have a shop where I offer some of my plants out there, and be sure to follow me on social media where I stay up to date and with my life and things you don't get to see on YouTube. So thank you so much, and
happy planting.
Happy gardening.
Hey!
Oh my gosh!
Super awkward.
Jimmy?
Hey!
Jimmy?
Thanks for coming by.
Sorry I barged in like that. I thought I was lost in a forest of variegated plants.
Okay, we gotta do that again. Let's try it again.